Good afternoon, folks. I wanted to do a video. We're getting towards almost towards the end of the month. And I'm doing a video called Call to Action, How to Increase Your Self-Esteem and Self-Motivation. And it's a 3 easy step process to do this. The first one is very simple, very simple. Is you got to keep an open mind through this process. And what I mean by an open mind is you've got to be willing to make changes. And sometimes those changes in life can be a bit difficult. This goes back to, I believe I said this in a few videos back, the one about Steve Harvey in his video about jump. And I think that's an excellent video to watch because what it says is that everyone has to jump if they want to better their lives, if they want to have their own businesses. And the point out of when you jump is you're going to get hurt, scratched, you're going to have failures, but I'm a big believer in failures become are positive experiences and what we learn from those. So the goal here is keep an open mind, don't get disheartened, and believe in your passions and your strengths. And to do this, like I said, is you're going to have failures, you're going to have successes. This goes back to when you see this, don't look at what you still have to accomplish, but take a look back and see what you have accomplished. For instance, for myself, right now have chapters 4 and 5 written. I'm going through my chapters right now to make sure everything looks great, looks fantastic. My goal is to turn it in tomorrow morning and then go from there. There'll probably be some tweaks that have to be done. There's some little odds and ends. But when I look at this in past and think about this 6 months ago, I was still working on chapter 3. I had problems with the COVID, but I was persistent and willing to make those changes and sacrifices to make this project to go forward. Also, another example of this is keeping an open mind. I joined Toastmasters, basically Arizona Global. Was a little bit reluctant to do that and thought, well, how am I going to have the time to do this? I made the time, did it because I kept an open mind, and I'm willing to make those changes. The second thing about this, and I'm looking at my notes, is the goals and objectives. And what I mean by this is you have to write down, and I do this every day or the night before I go to bed, an hour I take out of my day and say, what are my goals and objectives of the day? And then I write down what I'm grateful for. I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for the day, or what I wanted to accomplish, or what I'm grateful. I think this helps sets that mindset into a positive mode, and you can move forward with that. For instance, last night I set into mind that I'm working a part-time job while I'm doing this, and I had a job interview I knew I had today, and the job interview went well. But also, what I learned through this is I'm very grateful that I have a place. I was able to go to the grocery store today and able to accomplish what I really want to do, and I'm grateful for that. I'm just grateful to be where I'm at, and I'm grateful to have chapters 4 and 5 done, because when you're in a state of gratitude, things happen better, and you create those laws of attraction. What happens if people get negative, and these outside sources cannot come in because you're in a negative state? So the best thing to do, folks, is always be in this grateful, positive attitude, and things happen. And finally, the third thing is, being a psychologist that I am, is you test and retest. So in other words, what I mean by test and retest, for instance, I wanted to go to the grocery store today. Well, what if something happened, I wasn't able to do that? Then I'd have to change that tomorrow or something. So what I call by test is I was able to do that. Another goal, like I said, is I wanted to have chapter 4 and 5 pretty well written by the first of the year. Well, they're written. So what I do is go back and test and retest and say what worked, what didn't work, how can I improve on this, and move forward. The other objective I wanted to accomplish, and it looks like I'm going to accomplish this, is I wanted to have my Pathways levels 4 and 5 completed by the end of January. Well, it looks, I just finished 4 today and got approved for level 4. Level 5, all I have to do is do a presentation on Tuesday of next week, and level 5 will be done. Well, then we'll be at almost at the, I believe it is, will be the 25th or 26th. Well, I made that goal. I'll be able to make that goal. So what worked? Well, it's me being persistent, following through, writing down things. This is part of the goal of it. But the positive aspect of it is that I've become more detail oriented, but also it's given me more self motivation and more self esteem because I can see things that I've accomplished. I don't look at where I'm at the present, but I take a step back and look where I've been. It's this graph, the gap. There's a book out there about gap and gain, and you look at where you have been and where you started, than necessarily where you are at present. It's kind of funny because I always say being present, but the goal here is to look where you've been. It's almost like if you're driving, especially, and I've driven like in Kansas or thing, and you only see the horizon. And say you got 100 miles to go, and you're in Kansas City, and you got to go to, you're in Missouri, halfway through Missouri, but you got to go to Kansas City, and that's 120 miles. Well, you start driving that way, you start driving west, and in an hour or two, you still look up at the horizon and say, "Oh, I see it's the horizon." But when you step back and realize after an hour and a half, you're driving and you hit 100 miles to go, in essence, you have 50, 60 miles. So in essence, you've accomplished some of your goal because you're halfway there. So you look back at that, and that creates more motivation and more self-esteem with you. So once again, folks, keep this in mind. I'm calling this the call to action, and the 3 steps are as follows: keep an open mind, your goals and objectives, and then test and retest. I wanted to thank you, folks. It's a little bit longer. I don't like going on video over 7 minutes, but please like and subscribe below. Also, remember, I got a new book out. Don't buy that lottery ticket. Now available on Amazon for $4.99. Makes a great Valentine gift. Very easy. You can probably read it in 2 or 3 hours. Very, very good book. And once again, folks, thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.